Hello, I'm Eric Sondheimer of the Los Angeles Times. This is Coach Steve Miller, and we are going to talk about high school sports and also college sports. And in particular, we're starting out with the scandal unfolding in college basketball, assistant coaches in trouble through the FBI wiretapping that they may have influenced players to go to their school with the use of money. And Coach Miller used to coach high school basketball for many years. You're well aware of how things work.
Well, it starts with the AAU teams, and there were AAU teams in the 70s, and it starts there with coaches getting money from people to send their players to high schools, and then the high schools on to the colleges and to the pros, and it's all about wearing the shoes.
Well, what's the impact this is going to have on high school basketball?
Okay, first thing is, I think the shoe companies will back away from doing any work with colleges or high schools.
Wait a minute, they're not going to do that. They've signed millions of dollar contracts with schools. UCLA's getting over $200 million from Under Armour.
I think there's going to be a big decrease in the shoes, because the shoes with basketball, specifically basketball, has a lot to do with where players go to high school, where they go to college, and then you have agents getting a hold of these people illegally, and they get money from them if they go to the NBA or wherever they go.
Put this in perspective from your days when you were coaching at North Hollywood and Fairfax, how things really haven't changed much, but the angle of how to influence people has.
Well, when I was doing it, people were giving the shoes to high schools to wear. So if they're wearing a particular shoe, it makes them look good. Whereas 99% of the high schools aren't wearing any shoes. Certain high schools are wearing shoes.
So that's the way it was then. What is it the way now?
Well, now it's escalated through into college, where a player from high school goes to a college. They're then contacted by the assistant coach or vice versa, and they are then paid money to get that particular player to go to an agent when they graduate.
So what is the solution to all this? Are high schools still going to be able to be sponsored by shoe companies? Because Nike and Adidas and Under Armour, they're all sponsoring high schools.
Be prepared for rules to come down where the shoe companies are far less a problem than they've ever been, because they're going to stop it going to college and high school. That's the first thing. If they don't stop it, they need to decrease it big time.
But to me, this is the biggest scandal in college in many, many years.
Yes, it is a huge scandal. The tip of the iceberg has just been shown, and it's going to get worse and worse. They're going to find many more many more assistant coaches daily is going to resign because they did this.
Right. The other issue that's going on right now is the national anthems. Obviously, the NFL players are upset that President Trump has criticized them for their exercising their First Amendment rights, and now high school kids watching on television are trying to emulate them, and it's putting the pressure on the coaches and the kids what to do, how to react. The city section has a rule that you must be out there for the national anthem. The southern section doesn't, so some schools are just staying in anyway. They're not changing anything. But how are high school kids supposed to deal with this, and coaches?
Well, number one, this is a tremendous learning experience. Every coach should meet with his team and discuss what this is all about. And players should not be discouraged from giving their individual opinion what they should do. Now, I wouldn't keep my team ever in the locker room. I would bring them out. If some student wants to take a knee, let him do it. But we need to find out exactly why they're doing this, not just because they saw somebody on television. And that's where the learning comes out. Is this a show against Trump? Is this a show against the states? What is this about?
Right. I agree. I don't think kids should just go out and do things because they saw something on TV. I know they're feeling pressured by various people, and that's where the coach has to come in and have discussions on it. And this is a great teaching experience and learning experience, and we all want to just focus on football, but we also understand people can have powerful opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Every coach that doesn't have a meeting is like putting a Band-Aid over this, and it's like discouraging individuality. It's a great way to teach team aspects of what we're going to do together or separate, but get together and play this game together at the end.
All right, well, let's get back to the fun part. Talking about football, the Trinity League starts this week. 28-2 combined record, the best league probably in the nation. 6 great teams. Who's going to win the Trinity League this year?
Hold on. You know, when we look into the future, the great Carnegie will come into the picture.
Uh-oh.
I see St. John Bosco winning this league for two reasons. Difficulty of schedule, and they now have a partially new quarterback that can pass the ball better than the first string. So now you've got a dual quarterback situation, so they can pass and run.
Okay, well, I'm going to probably take Mater Dei. They won it last year. They have a little bit better balance on the offense right now than St. John Bosco. Those two teams will meet on October 13th. But to me, the whole thing about the league is everybody's got to be prepared every week. It's not going to be like last year where Bosco and Mater Dei really routed all the other teams in the league. I think the game's going to be much closer, and if either one of those teams looks ahead, they could end up losing. So it's not guaranteed that one of those two teams is going to win the league going unbeaten this year.
No way. This is a super league. You got super teams. You can't let down 1 second or you will be upset, which is not really an upset because all these teams are so good.
So let's talk about the first big league game in that Trinity League, and that's Orange Lutheran, which is 5-0, going against St. John Bosco. Orange Lutheran's quarterback, Ryan Helinski, is completing 75% of his passes. This is a totally different Orange Lutheran team than last year.
This is going to be a great game. Obviously, Bosco has to defend the pass much better than they've done, but they've shown that they can do this. But again, I'm picking St. John Bosco to win this game.
I'm taking Bosco in this game too because Bosco's secondary is the best around. They will be able to handle the defensive backs and put some pressure on Helinski. The other huge game is Rancho, Cucamonga, and Upland going at it. Both are unbeaten. I mean, this is a very tough game. I'm going to go with Upland. I just think their athleticism and their explosiveness on the offense will be a big deal. But Rancho Cucamonga has the defense to cause some issues.
Well, since I saw Upland in passing league this summer,
there you have it.
I loved what I saw. Athletes galore, quickness, aggressiveness, excellent quarterback. I'm picking Upland.
Okay, well, good suggestions. You got your bug on the floor. You got something on your head. Just another typical week in the Miller-Sonheimer discussions. Thank you very much and have a great week.